Ladies and gentlemen of the Iced Earth community, welcome to our top 10 show. It's got a new name, guys. I reached out to the community for a new name. 10's Day was crap. Let's face it, Chuck. It was crap, right?
Sorry.
It was crap. So we reached out to the community and for your suggestions. And guys, your suggestions were terrible. Sorry, but they were. But there was a winner. Christopher Olofsson, congratulations. You gave the best suggestion with Disciples of the 10. And that's going to be the new name of our top 10 show. So, ladies and gentlemen of the Iced Earth community, welcome to Disciples of the 10, the only top 10 show 100% dedicated to Iced motherfucking Earth. Today's episode is going to be our top 10 favourite Matt Barlow Iced Earth songs.
Yes, that's a tough one, buddy.
It's going to be hard, but we'll
give it our best.
We've made our lists. I'm going to pick 5, and Chuck's going to pick 5. Shall I kick it off this time, as you kicked it off last week? Right, yes. Now my number 5 is from the Burnt Offerings album. It's called Diary, and I love this song mostly solely on the basis that the lyrics are fantastic, and yeah, the whole song, the way the song is structured, Barlow's vocals are just amazing on it. And obviously, Burnt Offerings was the first album for people back then to hear Barlow. So I think this is one of the stronger Barlow songs on that album. When you think about the song and how it emphasizes Matt's vocals. That's the thing, guys. I just want to bring up. The way I've kind of made my picks, I've made picks that songs that accentuate Matt's vocals. That's where how I've gauged my picks here. I don't know how you've gauged yours, Chuck. Is that kind of the same?
Yes, I picked songs that kind of brought out Matt Barlow's greatness, and not so much that was just a great song. And we'll explain more at the end of our list. There's some songs that people say, how could you leave that out? But these are just songs that when I hear them, I think Barlow, or that Barlow has just owned and made important to me. So that's how I gauge my list.
Yeah, Diary for me as my first pick. Nice. It's just his vocals in the the way the melody he sings in the chorus, the whole song kind of just like allows Barlow to just fucking be amazing on it. And fun fact, guys, if you didn't know, the lyrics for Diary originally came up in Matt Barlow's original band, Cauldron. I forget what the song was called, so I do apologise. I'm sure someone will let us know in the comments what song that was, because we have
please
a lot
do.
Because I did know it at one point, but I forgot it, so sorry, guys. But yeah, my number 5, Diary. It's a really good song. Really emphasises Matt's just awesome vocals. So yeah, Chuck, your number 5.
Nice. My number 5 is also from Burnt Offerings. I went a little different way. I actually love the song Diary as well. I went with Last December.
Nice.
And I went with Last December because when I first started getting into Iced Earth, I just remember how just power ballady was, and just how great Barlow's song was on the softer stuff, and then it got heavy. I love it. And I think that song just emphasizes Barlow. Not that I don't love it with Stu, because Stu did great on it this tour, but I just love that song, and I went with Last December as my number 5.
Cool. I have a question about Last December. Would you consider it the band's first true ballad in kinds of like their history? Like it's like their first kind of ballad song, because there wasn't anything like that on the first or second albums, really.
There was those short songs on the Storm Rider, but they're not. I wouldn't really consider them ballads. I would definitely consider it the first power ballad. It was definitely the sister song to "I Died for You."
Hmm.
I mean, and further songs that came after it. So I
Yeah.
think it's definitely the first power ballad.
Cool, man. That's good. I've always wondered
So
that because I always will say that when Iced Earth write a ballad, they're writing to their strengths because I feel they write incredibly, really emotional and really powerful ballads. Anyway, that's off topic. That's for another video.
right.
My number four, guys, which is funny because I didn't know whether to put this at number one or not, but I decided there's better songs that emphasize Matt than this one, but I just feel this it's ironic because this song to me is the best Matt Barlow performance song, which is "Come What May" off of Crucible of Man. Probably the only incredible song off that album, and I just for him to come back after how long was it? Like 5 years, 5 years
Something
away
like
from
that.
the
Yeah.
band, for him to come back and lay these vocals down on this song and be so just world class masterful. Every time I hear this song, it emotionally grips me and doesn't let go until it's finished. And like I was saying in the Crucible Man retrospect, it generally makes me kind of like choke up a little bit. You know, it gets really kind of. I could literally like feel like a broken mess afterwards if I let my if I let my emotions just go. I could be like, but like his vocals are that good that it kind of hits me deep down. And this song is the perfect example of emotional storytelling through voice. In my opinion, like his vocals are incredible on it. The way the song structures really emphasizes him, and I believe that his voice and his vocal melodies drive the song, and it's just incredible. I love Comet Way. If there's any song off that particular album that I love, it'd be this song. So yeah, Come What May is number four. Awesome.
Great choice. Great choice, my friend. For me, my number four came off of Dark Saga. I chose The Question of Heaven, and it's probably my favorite track off Dark Saga, and I just love it. I love it live. I love it. It's just, to me, his voice is tremendous in it, and it defines Iced Earth epic. Um, it, it it's just, I hear it. I think Barlow. I mean, it's hard to put it into words how much that song I love. So, Question of Heaven is my number four.
My number three is A Question of Heaven. um, some people argue it, it, it as being like the quintessential Matt Barlow song, and it's funny because it's one of those songs where I don't feel anyone else should. It's one of those songs where I'm just like, no one else should touch it. It's Matt's song. Like I know Stu has sung it since. Like I've been at a show when they just came out with it randomly. Like, this song's for The Question of Heaven. Like, holy fuck! But there's something about Matt. You can say this across the whole of the Dark Saga records. There's something about Matt on this song in particular that just cements the just agony and torment that the Spawn character is going through, and Matt really kind of projects that through his voice. Am I just a pawn in your twisted game? Just some of the it's just incredible songwriting, and
Right.
really again emphasizes Matt's voice, and he helps portray that character and what he is fighting to basically see his love again. And is there a heaven? That's the question, because he's not he's been denied. It's fantastic, and it's a quintessential. If there's going to be a list of quintessential Matt Barlow songs, be it Iced Earth or not, this will be in that list for sure. It's great.
Well said. Well said. Um, So my number three is off Something Wicked This Way Comes. I picked The Coming Curse. The Coming Curse is it's hard to pick even one. It'd be hard to do a top five of that album actually, just because it's such a fantastic album.
10 out of 10
But The
album.
Coming Curse, yeah, it's The Coming Curse. I chose it just because it's the perfect Iced Earth song. It's got great melody. It's got an epic feel, but it's got that riff-a-rama to it. It's just I love it. So number three for me was The Coming Curse.
Awesome. Number two for me is what a lot of people say is the quintessential Matt Barlow song. But it comes in number two for me, which is Dracula. Now, the first time I heard this song, and it's really soulful at the beginning, do you believe in love? And his voice is great on that bit, but it's just like, as soon as it just goes, the blood, as soon as the blood is a lie comes in, it just kicks off. And literally, like, my mind is still blown how, I know it's obviously in the recording, you can do it line for line. So in the recording sense, he has time to breathe. But when you see him do it live, like on, there's a video on YouTube of a show of him doing it live, like from a festival. Watching him do it live, and bear in mind, obviously, he's doing high for the majority of that, of the verses anyway. It's all just high vocal, high range. It blows my mind that he has so much endurance and so much, he knows how to control his voice to the point where he can just belt out this song at just such a almost perfect, just I can't put it in words, man. It's just the most epic thing in terms of vocals for the band. When it comes to epic, it's this song, man. It's just like fucking hell. He just goes for it, and it just sounds amazing. And it's just I'm struggling to find words because it's that incredible to me that I can't find words to explain how awesome it is and how great Matt is on it. It's just when I heard Stu do it, I wasn't really that impressed, to be honest, because it's another song where I'm just like, but it's Matt's song, you can't top Matt on it. He's on another level on that song, man.
I think there's always going to be different songs that people are better at. Like I thought that I like Damien by Stu a lot, but I thought that Dracula was Matt's song as well. And I thought, and that, like I said, we can go on and on about the differences between the singers, but I know what you're saying. Matt's definitely the highlight of that song. So,
your number two, sir.
My number two is the second and final selection from this album, and it might surprise somebody because I'm usually not into the slower stuff, but I chose Watching Over Me, and here's the reason why. Because I've been watching the video a lot lately of Matt joining Iced Earth on stage in Baltimore, and when he comes out and does that second verse, he's still so soulful. And like you feel like I mean, I still get chills every time I watch it, and I've seen it probably 50 times. I mean, I remember it, I liked the song a lot when I first got the album, but it just keeps growing and growing on me. And just to hear him the other day, it still touches me. And I felt like everybody in that audience that night got something so special. And he still, like he just owns that song. To me, it just, I'm not saying, and you could say, well, how could it not be Burning Times? Burning Times is a great Iced Earth song. The riff and everything. And Stu does it great. And Tim did it great. And that's the reason why Dante's Inferno is not on my list either. And it's probably my second favorite song of all time, but it's a great song. It's great storytelling, great riffs, and it's great with Stu. This is a song that I think speaks to me and Matt. And when I think of Matt's greatest hits, I think of Watching Over Me. So just it really, and I know it's a song that's very personal to John. It's just I was always very against it as a closer because it's a softer song, but even with Stu singing it, it's great. It's just it speaks to me so much. So watching over me is my number two, and to me that's just a stamp Matt Barlow on that one.
It, I do agree with you that that's definitely got the Matt Barlow stamp, and I remember hearing because I remember on the Dystopia tour they when Stu joined and they done the Dystopia tour, especially for that first kind of like year, like 2011 to 2012, they hadn't played it from what I was aware, and I remember hearing hearing this rumor. It was a fake rumor, but I remember hearing it that John John Schaefer's not going to play Watching It Over Me anymore because he feels that only Matt can sing that song. I remember hearing that rumor. Obviously, it was a fake rumor. Obviously, they've played it numerous times since. But at the time, I was like, that makes sense. Like in my mind, I'm like, that kind of makes sense because it's dedicated to John's friend, and Matt was the main guy that sung it, and I could understand why they wouldn't, John wouldn't want to play it with somebody else because it's always been John Schaefer and Matt Barlow with that song, before Stu came into it. So I thought that was just kind of a funny thing.
If anybody has a great studio recording and they could like give us a high def version of that on the internet, I'd love to see better quality of Stu and Matt singing it together, because it's one of my favorite songs now to watch on YouTube. Those two together is just amazing. So
the one thing about that particular guest like performance is that when we interviewed Matt in particular, we asked like, would you ever do like a kind of like a end of an era kind of reunion show with like other former musicians and stuff like that, and it's like he wouldn't turn it down. It just depends how things are in his life, and it just shows you that he was offered to do it and he'd done it, and
right.
I bet those people in Baltimore lost their fucking minds. I can imagine them just going,
I did.
Holy shit, like
I didn't. I wasn't even there. So what's your number one, sir?
My number one, you've already talked about it, is The Coming Curse. It's my favourite Iced Earth song of all time. It has one of my favourite lyric moments of all time. And I know I said The Come What May is what I consider to be the best Matt Barlow performance. Best and favourite are two different things, and The Coming Curse is my favourite Matt Barlow performance. And I feel the song Matt really drives the song as much as the guitars and drums do. And it's just, there's that, Matt has got a great thing of, he can sound evil when he wants to, and he can sound, like you said about Watching Over, he can sound soulful when he wants to. And this song has got a bit of both. He's kind of painting Set Abominate as kind of almost an anti-hero. It's just like, I walk the earth, another day, savior to my own, devil to some, savior to my own, stuff like that, and it has and it's just such a momentum song. It just goes and doesn't let up, and Matt just keeps it in full speed, and it has like my favourite line. It's just like, hellfire rages in my eyes, blood will fall like rain this night. Like, it's epic. Yeah. It's so good. And
but I could have easily picked the trilogy. I know that's kind of cheating, because I think that song flows.
That is cheating.
Like even better than Gettysburg. I never want to listen to just one of the three. I always want to listen to the whole trilogy, though.
It's the way to be done, man.
Right.
It's how it should be done.
Well, I think that we have deprived the people today, because I think we gave them a top 7. Because my number one pick is my favorite song of all time, and that's Dracula. And I remember the first time I heard it with the intro, and I just remember I was just waiting. Like, I just knew that it was going to take off. And like you said, the intro with "Do You Believe in Love?" It's just, the voice is just so it paints a story probably maybe to me more than any other song ever. You know, like you actually feel the struggles of Dracula in that song. I mean, you can actually almost hear it or see it when you hear it, and just like you said, some of his highs are just amazing on that song. I mean, I I know I sing along with it in my car, and I probably sound like a chicken being choked to death. But you know, it's how can you not sing along with that song?
Man,
It shows his range. I mean, different songs show different ranges, but that one just shows so much range on one song. It fits so
definitely.
perfectly. It's like it's not over long. You know,
There's
it's not too long. It's not too short.
like
It's perfect all the way around.
like my there's that thing as well. Like there's a lyric. My favorite lyric in the whole song is just like, I defy the creed that damned her. That this last bit is like, I defy the creed that damned her. It goes high. That high bit is just like, what is he a god? What is going on here? Like it's just,
So,
yeah, that his vocals in that song are incredible. And I had a feeling a lot of our choices would match up as well. It wasn't that many. It was just
just
a
3 out of 5. So, but we do have some
yeah.
have some honorable mentions. So, what are your honorable mentions?
My first honorable mention would be Jekyll and Hyde. I think that is definitely driven by Matt's vocals on that song. He
Oh yeah,
portrays this. Oh, I fucking love it. I love it.
I know. I just
You are not stronger than me. I am you.
right,
I won't let you.
right.
So good. Like that's the thing. Like especially songs that are about character songs like Jekyll and Hyde, Damien, songs like that allow Matt to be those characters and really project those characters, really show how much of a vocalist he is, because like to portray that character of Jekyll and Hyde and do it so well, it's just that almost made the list, but I think I picked the best for me in the end. But Jekyll and Hyde was so close that almost trumped Diary, almost. But I kind
It's
of wanted to keep it one song per album. I didn't want to do too many off one album. But
you
yeah,
must have been you must have been copying off of my list today because my honorable mentions were Diary and Jekyll and Hyde, and just to mention again that Dante's Inferno is one of my favorite songs, but
yeah,
to
it's
me
great.
it's more of an Iced Earth song than a Matt driven,
Yeah,
so. And like I think I mentioned earlier, Burning Times, I love the song. I never will ever get tired of it, but you know, it's more of just an Iced Earth song to me. So,
mm.
but yeah, Jekyll and Hyde, to me that's one of the highlights of horror show for sure. I would love to hear it live.
Now I have a question for you, and then I have a question for the community to answer
Okay.
this in the comments. Right. Would you ever? I know I said not to include re-recordings or whatever on this list for today, but if you were if we were like, okay, you can add Days of Purgatory stuff on here if you wanted to, would there be any older songs that Matt redone? Would they have appeared on this list for you, or would you say no?
Um,
That's not definitive Matt because he didn't originally sing it. Like that's how I looked at that. I was like, no, Matt didn't originally sing it, so it doesn't count. That's how I saw that
see,
personally.
see when I think of the Purgatory stuff, that was how I heard the first two albums. The first two, I mean, it was years before I heard the Gene and John versions.
Wow.
So, when I when I go and listen to them, sometimes I could still hear the differences, of the Mad. Like I kind of like the way When the Night Falls is sung better.
I like the melody. Yeah.
Not the way the melody in the intro. I think the song flows better on the Matt version. That'd be a tough one. I actually love his Angels Holocaust a lot too. and I love his colors live from the Alive in Athens. So there's, of course, my favorite colors is from the
Enter the Realm.
demo, but
Yeah, same as me.
but it would have made it even harder
Yeah, it's fucking hard to
for
begin with.
sure.
Like,
Because I think we've talked about this off the air. Matt doing anything is never going to make anything worse.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
like it's
it's
Matt.
never. And
Um,
I'm thankful we have those two versions of the first two albums almost complete, and I'm glad we've got a few of the framing songs because I think all the Matt framing stuff is better. Just my opinion.
that's fair enough, man. Like, it's
And
all to
that's
do
what
with
this show is
taste, you
about,
know.
our opinions, our top tens.
And there's no wrong
So
opinion, man. Do you know what I mean? You know,
no, absolutely not. And
exactly.
that's
Like,
one thing I love about our community is because people will be like, what's your favorite song off this album? And just it's cool to see different, and people's different vibe would, I'm sure there's people that would have burnt offerings on there or, Dante's and Wolf, I'm sure would show up on a lot of lists. So, this is just my opinion. And that it could change. And you asked me in 6 months, I'm sure I'd probably have a different set for you.
it's really funny how, like, you know, we bring up horror show a lot on this show, on the podcast. I'm wearing a t-shirt, but I think, like, horror show may not be our favorite or whatever, but I think horror show is where the band kind of peaked, and you can see the evolution and how great Matt became before he left that band for the first time. That brings me to my question for the community. You can give me your thoughts as well, Chuck, on this. I did ask Adam Ortiz's thoughts on this because my thoughts are like, I don't think it counts. Does Crucible of Man count as being part of the Matt Barlow era? Because the way I've seen era is a big chunk of time, like a big chunk of time is an era. Crucible of Man was literally 3 years. It wasn't long. It one album and it was a 3 year kind of period, and then Matt left again. I don't really lump that with what we had with Burnt Offerings, Dark Saga, Something Wicked, Horror Show. Like, I don't really have, I don't, when I think Matt Barlow era, I think of those original, you know, four.
I think it's the same.
Yeah?
And I guess I can only think of, other bands. You think of the Bruce Dickinson stuff. You don't think of just before he left the first time. I don't consider anything after he came back to be not from the Bruce Dickinson era. I mean, I'm sure it's more than one album, but to me, the Crucible stuff is Matt Barlow. It's just not the classic stuff.
Yeah.
And we talked about that. The songwriting was not up to par, and he made some great music. And since we've done the podcast on that album, I listened to it more, and I think maybe that's the reason why Come What May isn't on my list because it's kind of been to the side, not so up front like the other ones.
It's kind of been
And I have
very
listened to it
good.
more lately.
Yeah,
So,
that's fair
but
enough.
I think it is. In my opinion, it is part of the Barlow, just
Some,
the lower tier of it.
I can imagine some comments down below saying stuff like, it's got Matt Barlow in it, so of course it's part of the era.
Yeah.
But the way my mind works is like eras is a chunk of time. That's the way I'm seeing it. But everyone, there's no wrong answer. That's just the way my mind works at the moment. But anyway, let me know, guys. Let us know your top 5 Matt Barlow songs or top 10, whatever, Matt Barlow songs from Iced Earth, and also let us know if you consider Crucible Man as part of the overall Matt Barlow era. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. This has been another. It's been the second episode of our top 10. Brand new name, Disciples of the 10.
The 10. I like it.
Thank you, Christopher at Lost Room, for the suggestion. The only top 10 show 100% dedicated to Iced Earth. I've been Jason.
I've been Chuck. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Yeah, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. I know we've said this last week, but Dystopia is coming. Trust me, Dystopia is coming. Trust us. I'm really looking forward to talking about that album, man. Like next
Yes.
week can't come quick enough.
Yeah.
Well, yes, we are recording
This
next
week.
week, guys. Yeah. Yeah, we are recording soon, so don't worry. Dystopia is coming, guys.
Yes.
We've had confirmation of our next guest, so look forward to announcements coming in the near future. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time. Stay metal because metal lives, my friends. See you later.